Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Hello, friends. Welcome in, and thank you for joining me. The Eric Zane Show podcast, it has begun. Daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Thank you to Impact Power Sports. Great place to buy something fun with an engine. You could get an ATV, a UTV, side-by-side motorcycle, Amphicat. Who remembers the Amphicat? Probably nobody, for old people only. E-bikes, not to mention B-bikes. And who could forget Yamaha golf carts, all at Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com. They also have a showroom that you can visit in Rockford, Michigan. There you go. So we are off and running with another edition of the show. I told this to the folks on Patreon yesterday, but you're not going to believe it. The hits keep on coming. I got a phone call from Big Vet, and I was kind of expecting it because Darla just had her yearly exam, and then they give the dog the shots. And this was the scenario when I took O'Neill for his yearly vet visit, and they go, yeah, the blood work came back great. Everything's fine, except he's got cancer. So I'm always a little guarded when you get the phone call back. It says on my phone, Big Vet. And so I'm like, oh, there's no way that my bad luck is going to continue. Since November, you had Bruce's spleen. You had O'Neill's cancer. You had the death of Benny the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. You have Bruce with the damage to his eye. Boy, was I shocked when I picked up the phone and Vet Luke says, blood work came back great, but she's got antibodies for Lyme disease. And I'm like, what? And I guess that means the dog has been bitten by a tick that is a Lyme disease carrier. Now, I guess the way this works is, from what I'm understanding, and my meager, because I was shocked. I was like, what? I go, does this mean my dog has Lyme disease? He goes, no. Now, I learned on my own that only 5% of animals that are bitten by a tick-carrying Lyme disease, that the dog will actually develop the symptoms. Achy joints, kidney issues, lethargy, and a whole slew of others. And it's not easy to get rid of Lyme disease. And if it goes unchecked, it can kill the dog. Darla has no symptoms, but who knows? I go, well, the dog has the Lyme disease vaccine. He goes, I know. So this might be a combination of it just didn't manifest and or the vaccine did its job. So I go, so what's next? He goes, I do another test. That test will determine whether or not your dog has Lyme disease. I go, okay. So I don't think she does, but I am anxious as hell about this. Pooh Bear's great because she doesn't have it. I go, how do you know? Because she doesn't. I go, what if she does? See, this is. Remember how I told you about how I look into my crystal ball of doom and I get on Matt. Well, I don't get on her. I don't give her a hard time about it. But that's when you're the anxious type like I am, though I do have things in my toolbox to keep myself grounded, sometimes it kind of plays with my head, especially late in the day. Like I've said before, if it's late in the day, I go to bed and then I wake up and I don't feel so bad. Like today, I don't feel as bad because last night, day gets long. I'm tired. Oh, fuck, dog's got holy shit. And she goes, well, okay. I go, what if the dog has it? She goes, well, then we treat the dog. It's not going to kill the dog. Like, how do you do this? I don't know how you're so good at this. So I go, what about this vaccine? He goes, yeah, okay. So we're doing this test. It's going to cost you $200, Eric. I go, all right, here you go. And then he called the manufacturer of the vaccine. And I guess this happens from time to time. They then agree to send me the cost for this test because they don't like this out there that they market the Lyme disease vaccine and then a dog has to get tested for Lyme disease. Kind of like, doesn't really jive. Not that it can be 100% foolproof. I mean, we all know that. So I'm hopeful that the dog does not have Lyme disease. But until I get that word, I'm like, but I tell you what, when that information came down to me, I'm like, what is another sucker punch? If this does, right now the punch is this far from my nose, and it's in a holding pattern. And then I'm just waiting for the call from the vet. Yeah, she's got it. Whammo! Nick says, I already pulled a tick off of myself this year. Wow. All right. So I guess, and then he says to me, he goes, Eric, have you been giving the dog the medication? You give him those pills each month. And I haven't. And so he goes, well, yeah, you got to do that. I mean, that doesn't mean that the vaccine is no good, but a tick has to be on your dog for 24 to 48 hours doing what ticks do for that transmission to take place. The disease to leave it, the bacteria, whatever the fuck it is, and get into the dog or virus. I have no idea. Excuse me. And the dogs just don't go outside in the winter that much. If they do, I'm taking them for a walk. So I forgot to give the dog the medicine a few times so she doesn't have. So if the dog has that flea and tick, those pills or whatever you're using to keep the dog vaccinated from the actual bites, the tick will bite, and then the way the chemicals that are in the dog's bloodstream kills the tick, so then it just falls off, and it's a protection against Lyme disease. So what I'm getting at is I might be responsible for this. The same way I might be a bad pet owner, that I didn't put the lampshade, the cone of shame, on Bruce and his eye got damaged. This neglecting to give the dog the pill, I may be responsible again. Fuck, man. I'm pretty sure I am responsible. I felt bad as soon as he asked me the question. I should have lied. Easy, have you been giving the dog the pills? Yeah. Oh, yeah, lots of them. Every day I get, well, yeah, it's only once a month. Right. Yeah, I've been doing that. Becca Shea says, how are your dogs always the one with issues? And your cats aren't. Yeah, knock on wood. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it was Nick, the electrician, who said that indoor cats are virtually indestructible. And I believe that. You gotta really come up with poor luck of the draw if you got a cat that's an indoor cat and just roams around the house. Badger says, please say you give them their monthly heartworm. All right. I'll be totally honest with you. No. O'Neill gets a shot that it's all 3 in 1 for the whole year, so I don't have to worry about him. But I kept, forgetting to give Bruce, and when he was alive, Benny, and Darla now, those pills. When the summer ended and we stopped going up north, I was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. Well, now this is a very harsh reality check that, no, you got to keep doing that. What an asshole, huh? Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. It happens. That's what our pal Freebeer says. It happens. Blue State Rob says, take 100% of the blame. 100% return on invested Pooh Bear points. Amanda with a great suggestion. Just put an alarm on your phone. I have it. And then it says, Eric, give the dogs a pill. First warning. Yeah, okay, great. And then again, give the dogs their pill. Yeah, okay, smell you later. And then I don't do it. Clown of Carnage, Black Belt Nick says, flea and tick, you could probably get away with, but heartworm should be all year. Yes, that is true. And considering the fact that I had a dog that was heartworm positive, Benny the one-eyed wonder dog, all it takes is one mosquito. Badger says, treating heartworm in a dog is very painful and hard on them. We learned the hard way. Yeah, so did I. So despite knowing it, here I am. Whatever. Megan's here. I think she's still partying down on her Cancun vacation. Says, alarms work really well until you snooze them forever. Ask me how I know, LOL. Amanda says, do it when it comes up. Stop everything, dumbass. You're right. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of you, that I am recommitting to doing this appropriately. My apologies, because you all care about these animals too. You're very invested. You love the things that I love, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So beat me up. Remind me. In fact, I'll tell you the day that the next medicine is due. It is, shit. Okay, the 5th of every month. Oh, here comes O'Neill. The 5th of every month. Blue State Rob says, I'm about to invest actual dollars in their pills. Venmo incoming. Stevie says, oh, my God, I actually agree with Amanda for once. Stop everything and give the pill. Nope, you're right. This is my mistake. It's not a mistake. This is my neglect. My neglect. King Bees. All right. Blue State Rob, by the way, I am sending you your paperclip with this cool CD and that voided check and this stack of papers. Congrats to you. If you still see it there, that means I've forgotten to mail it, which is interesting because the U.S. Postal Service and our very own Bob, who lives in Pennsylvania, I believe it's Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania. I don't know what part of Pennsylvania. I'll get to that in a second. Megan has a question. Wait, why don't they all get the 3-in-1 vaccine? No, don't do that. Well, O'Neill does. And I have an overabundance of the pills. So I just chose not to. And the reason why I have an overabundance of the pills is because I don't give them to the dogs. Okay? So, like when Darla went, they said, do you want us to give Darla the 3-in-1? And I said, no. I've got the 3-in-1 pill. And they go, well, that's good. I go, I know it is. Thank you. But I hadn't actually been giving it to her for the past several months. But then I went home. I gave it to her. And May 5th, she gets it again. So now Bruce is allergic. He did one time get the 3-in-1. And it did not, he had a problem with it. So he's back to the pills that I have a stockpile of. Let's see. Stevie says, do we have to call Jackie and have her get on your case? What would Jackie do? WWJD. And if you want to, you can right now. And I don't know how you all reach Jacqueline, but some of you I'm sure know how. You can do whatever you want. You're in this with me. Now let's just say I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that this is just a false alarm. That the dog does not have Lyme disease. But I want you to know that I feel very bad about this. Chris says, just say tacky to Siri and it will call her. I don't want to tell her. You got to tell her. All right, we have breaking news. Amanda is here. Now, a little bit of background. There had been some oddness recently when Amanda, for some absurd reason, decided to show Ben and I and all the audience on Patreon, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, hey, I want to show you pictures of my grandpa. And so this guy, she had revealed earlier that the guy had gone to prison for kiddie porno. Now, this caused a lot of weirdness for the audience. They were very, off-put by that. And Stevie called her out, and then there was some, people were pissed off, to be frank. And then it kind of went back and forth, and then it bubbled under for a period of time. And then Amanda came back, and she almost, tried to put the blame on us at one point. And which I'm sure she's regretful about now because I'm seeing there's new information here. So that ends. And then, the people agree to go to separate corners. I'm stuck in the middle. So I've been cracking jokes about Grandpa being a pedo. And then, so that's been going on. And then there was some rumblings. Amanda made a comment the other day that there was some new information about this grandpa. And part of the things with the grandpa was the other family members were like, oh, God, we hate grandpa. But Amanda was not in the we hate grandpa camp. But I think now she may be. Because as I understand it, grandpa is now dead. Amanda says, hey, out of the blue, she wrote, Stevie. Hey, Stevie. I'm just going to read it in normal voice. Because it's serious, I'm no longer defending a certain someone after speaking to family members last weekend. Indefensible. So I guess it came up, and there was, new information that was traded. Megan says, I'm sorry that happened, Amanda. Amanda says, it's one of those things that just crushes you. And then she says, stages of grief. I moved past denial and anger. Stevie says, that's really awful, Amanda, truly. Well, it was awful prior to, but for whatever reason, Amanda wasn't, she was extremely, how do I say this lightly, dumb when it comes to her approach about Grandpa up to that point, and I think she'd admit that. She admits here, yeah, the photo thing wasn't one of my good ideas. It's my bad. Chris says, I feel like we need a live call-in on this. I don't. I don't feel that way because I think she feels bad enough, and I don't want to make anything embarrassing for her. And whatever. It's fine. It's fine. We had some people that were pissed off at you, and I think that this kind of new information is telling. Piano Finger Banger says, get her on the line. All right, well, I want to ask you guys, do you think that that's needed? I mean, I don't even know if she can say anything more than what has already been said, unless she goes on and tells us what actually happened, what is indefensible. But then that might open up another can of worms. I mean, that's a hard thing to hear, So you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to be discretionary here. And all of you psychopaths are like, no. Black Belt Nick says, not needed. Let her be. I agree. So there you go. Water under the bridge. You're fine. Birch says, you'll end up turning her into a commercial for BetterHelp. Let it alone. Blue State Rob says, let's not become Zaniacs and start demanding stuff for the show. Stevie says, all right, fair. You're right, Rob. Okay. I think essentially I'm right. Because I was not for that. So everybody should tell me how right I am for just wanting to let that go. I'm pretty awesome. Tophus says, I have a family member who did that monstrous thing. The last thing you want to hear about after learning about it is what that piece of shit did. Yeah. Badger's like, what if she calls you? No, I don't have to pick it up, you fucking twit. My God. That's all right. What was I was about to talk about something, and then I got distracted. Do you all remember what it was? I don't remember. Anyway, so there's Darla. I posted a video of her on Facebook. She's incredibly cute today. She's cute every day. All right. Tophus says there's a lot of shit going on in the world. You're damn right there is. And I'm here to discuss it with you. First, I want to get into the story that none of you know about, but I saw it yesterday. A radio guy in Green Bay, Appleton, Green Bay, Wisconsin. His name is Otis Day. And he's on a radio, worked for a radio company that when I was with my old show, that company put us on in Green Bay on the Razor. And he's a morning guy on a station called KISS, and he just got fired. And I guess up there it's a big deal because the guy's like been around forever, and everybody knows him, super famous in the area, local celebrity. And this is just weird. And a rival radio person had got a judge to sign a restraining order against the guy. And so now Otis Day is out, and this story involves one radio host saying Otis Day needs a restraining order on him, and then Otis Day apparently there's some shit that he pulled that made it so that the judge signed the restraining order, and that I think was the reason why they cut him loose was because of the goddamn restraining order. And this is such a big deal in that neck of the woods that they did a 10-minute investigative story on it on the news. Thank you. Who sent this along? Some nice person in that area. That would be Chad. EZ. Wanted to share this news story with you. It broke today with every news station covering it like it was the president died. Anyways, thought you might enjoy. The news story is long, but I think it's worth it. I might be biased as I live in the market, and I know the stations in question. Not sure if you know anyone in the industry that works or work for Midwest Communications, but rumors have been that it has not been a great place to work, and they have had a lot of people leave the past several years. It's probably just the state of radio in general. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought he left Midwest and went to Woodward, this guy. It doesn't matter. That's beside the point. Let's get into the saga. Was that you? Was that a sneeze? It sounded like a dog getting murdered. I don't know if you folks could hear that. Are you leaving me?
Yeah. Just sausage and bagels, maybe.
We need sausage, like a roll of it. Mm-hmm. Bagels, eggs. Might want to get some cheese. We've got the sliced cheese in the cellophane works good for those. Okay, whatever you want. And milk. I was just telling the folks about the Lyme disease scare. And you, by the way, Tophus says, is that the NFK? He's referring to you. She's not going to like you if you make comments like that. He says, I saw only part of the sweatshirt. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I was telling them about Lyme disease, and they're all beating me up because I hadn't been giving the dogs the flea and tick medicine and the heartworm medicine. And they're very upset at me over this.
You haven't done?
Not for the past few months, no. Why? Because I kept forgetting to. I kept blowing it off, thinking it wasn't that big of a deal because of the months, winter. You see, you got to get bit by a mosquito to get heartworm.
You gotta get bit by a tick.
And then ticks and fleas aren't really around much in the winter. I think they're making a big deal out of it.
Hey, bye.
Okay, I love you. Bye. I'm sorry?
Your suitcase here?
Yeah?
It's been here for months.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll get the suitcase. I want you to know that if my phone rings and it says Big Vet, I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to pick it up. And if I get bad news, it's going to be just so fucking awful. I'm probably going to spin out. Okay, so what is this guy's name? Otis Day.
Joining us tonight, a familiar voice in Green Bay radio is
The volume might be low on this.
facing a restraining order and is no longer on the air. KISS FM announced Otis Day's departure this morning, but did not give an explanation. The person who filed the restraining order is also on the radio at Day's former station, WIXX. It stems from an apparent case of online bullying that prompted a criminal investigation, but did
God, I can't believe somebody would do that.
not result in any charges. This is a case Fox 11 Investigates has been looking into the past few weeks. Ben Krumholtz brings us exclusive information on the situation.
We're almost 2 years removed from a major shakeup in Northeast Wisconsin's morning radio lineup. 3 longtime hosts on 101 WIXX went to the competition, 95.9 KISS FM.
And while all this is happening, suddenly this internet thing pops up, and it really was nasty, targeting, ugly.
Peter Tanz is president of Midwest Communications, the owner of WIXX. The internet page he's referring to is a Facebook page titled TIW's Day Holla Back XXIW, which is WIXX spelled backward.
And then it just started to ratchet up, and it got more and more vicious, and started to include family members and others. And I, president of the company, I'm learning things I didn't know were going on from that goofy internet page.
That is awful. I can't believe somebody would do that.
Is it accurate that in September of 2025 you opened an investigation based upon stalking and harassment.
An initial court hearing was recently held for restraining orders Natalie Jansen of WIXX had temporarily granted. They are against Richard Day, commonly known as Otis Day, now formerly of KISS FM, and Emily Chagnon, a resident of Marion. The hearing only provided time for Jansen's...
Okay, I think Chagnon there, she's running that Facebook page, from what I understand it, and Day is communicating with her.
Attorney to question...
To, fuel the fire.
Brown County Sheriff Sergeant Richard Lopnow. According to a sheriff's report and information provided to Fox 11, Jansen and her boss contacted the department after this picture was posted on the Hollaback Facebook page. The picture is of Jansen near Lambeau Field on game day and states Natalie strolled right past without a clue that she was within 2 feet of royalty, the Troll King himself. The sheriff's office found the page was created in April of 2024. It has since been deleted, but screenshots show there were dozens of posts, plenty critical of Jansen's on-air performance, but also some that were personal. Multiple posts involved Jansen's son and a custody battle.
Well, that's fucked up right there.
Fair to say that you were concerned for the safety and well-being of Ms. Jansen?
There was concern during the investigation based on the initial information and the information that was posted on the Facebook page.
The case report shows video surveillance from the day the picture of Jansen was taken helped lead authorities to Chagnon, who admitted to investigators she ran the Hollaback page. Jansen and her boss didn't know who Chagnon was when the sheriff's department provided them her name, but they ended up finding an apparent connection to the radio station. The case report shows WIXX leadership looked into Facebook pages the station owns for employees that are supposed to be used for work purposes. They discovered a conversation between Chagnon and former longtime WIXX employee Otis Day.
Okay, so when he worked for them, that's when he made friends with that snow cow.
He left the station in 2022 and joined KISS in late 2023, but was apparently still using the WIXX-owned Facebook page.
That sounds like a very radio thing, that the radio station has no idea that he can actually be part of their own Facebook page. Like somebody forgot.
Initiated the conversation with Day in January 2024.
What did you think when you specifically found out that Otis Day was communicating with the woman who was apparently running the page?
Well, you get angry. You get upset and you go, why? Why? There's no reason. There is no reason to target our people. There's no reason to do this.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. There's always a good reason.
Provided Fox 11 the conversation between Day and Chagnon, which spanned about 5 months. The first 2 months, the messages are almost all from her to Day, being critical of WIXX. She also tells him she's been loyal to WIXX since she was 15, but will be 43 next month and is now KISS all the way. She sends him screenshots of herself being critical of Jansen on WIXX's Facebook page. The screenshots show she commented using her regular account and one by the name of Sally Gibson, a burner or fake account, which she tells Day she's had for 10 years.
Okay, this is all interesting and good drama for Green Bay, but who gives a fuck? Who cares that somebody makes a fake Facebook account and goes after some radio chick?
Day's initial responses are short. They include "This is fire," "Thank you," and "Oof." Day becomes more active in the conversation after 2 months. He tells Chagnon, "We love what you're doing. I wish I had a troll page. I thought about making one years ago when Jake and Tanner were on WIXX. I couldn't stand how they did expletive and I wanted to say something." Day also sends this Brady Bunch-like picture of WIXX on-air personalities with an X over each one who has left the station. Day says he wouldn't be mad if it ended up getting out there all the time, constantly, over and over. At one point, Chagnon tells Day she now has her new entertainment, pissing off Natalie. She says it won't take much to break her.
Was there any bad blood or anything when he left? Did you know about any animosity there?
No, none whatsoever.
Do you know, did Natalie and Otis ever have any interaction? Did they ever even meet?
I don't know. I
Something
don't know
about this guy annoys me.
if they've ever even met.
Day and Chagnon continue exchanging messages, including the possibility of Chagnon's husband, a radio host in Wausau, guest hosting with Day. They also make plans to go out to dinner with their spouses, which appears to happen in
That's
late
got a Zaniac vibe to it.
March of 2024. Only 2 sets of message exchanges happen after the apparent dinner, with the last messages sent in June of 24. 19 months later, and a few months into its criminal investigation, the Sheriff's Department confronted Day. The case report shows Day told investigators he was aware of the
I don't understand what he did wrong. I haven't. I mean, this is a nothing burger to me. Who cares? Who cares what his opinion of her is? Who cares that he eggs on the chick who's got a troll page? I'm trying to figure out what he's done that's bad here.
Hollaback Facebook page, but he had no involvement in it. He told them it seemed pointless and juvenile, and then turned malicious.
Okay.
When investigators asked Day about Chagnon and her husband, he said he didn't believe he ever communicated with them.
Okay, well, that's a lie.
During our conversation, I
don't
believe
want
he was
to.
not forthcoming about his involvement and knowledge of
I will say that the plaintiff is a smoke show.
the Facebook page and his relationship with Emily Chagnon.
The Sheriff's Department referred felony stalking charges to the district attorney against Chagnon and Day. Days were referred as party to a crime. The district
So I
attorney's
think
office...
the temporary or the restraining order was ordered because the picture was taken of her in the wild, which is weird, and then the comments. So that, and if they said anything that's sideways about the kids, I mean, that can get you into trouble. That's
decided
horrible.
against filing
what kind
charges.
of asshole would
It
do
did
that?
send letters to Chagnon and Day on March 4th. The letters state the behavior they engaged in was clearly inappropriate and could potentially be interpreted as stalking given the impact it has had on the victim, both emotionally and professionally. The letters state it should serve as notice to refrain from conduct of this nature in the future, and they may be subject to future criminal charges if such conduct persists. We wanted to ask District Attorney David Lassay why he decided against filing charges. He declined our request for an
Because nothing happened.
interview, but tells Fox 11 his office sends these types of letters a few times each year. In the restraining order request...
Okay, basically it's a brushback pitch
against
saying,
Day,
yeah, stop it, knock it off.
wrote his actions made her fear for her safety and negatively impacted her mental well-being. She says she's constantly paranoid now because of this and his involvement.
We have sent messages to Day and
Okay,
Chagnon
and
to see if
but,
they'd be willing to do interviews with us. We want
So this
to
guy's
ask,
out. That company, Woodward, that was employing him at KISS, they're like, this is too much for us. You're fired over this.
if they
Which
communicated
I think is bullshit, and he should probably sue them.
beyond that Facebook conversation from the first half of 2024 and what they think about the restraining orders Jansen is seeking. Jansen has indicated she would be willing to answer questions.
Time out, folks. What's going on? Your key? Well, I don't know. If it's not in the usual spots, I can get up and come help you find it. So hold on. The usual spots would be armoire, dresser, bathroom counter, island, computer desk, that drawer. You're right. My bad. I'm so sorry. Did you find it? Okay, if it's not in the drawer, it might be one of those other spots. Let me know and I'll come help you.
We have after a decision is reached on whether the temporary restraining orders will be permanent.
You found the key? Where was it? It was on the dresser? All right. Off you go.
Hey, thinking maybe so that we don't look so redneckish,
Yeah.
that we take care of the oil.
Yeah, I know. There's some things I got to do. I'm going to talk to them about it. Thank you.
You know, I've already seen some of the online comments. People are thinking, well, this has something to do with, you know, they're competing against one another, and this is a way to one-up the competition. What would you say to those people who are...
Yeah, radio people who have like a chip on their shoulder or an axe to grind or, you know, anything like that. Those are the worst. You never want to be associated with, you know, radio guy or former radio guy and podcast host who, you know, is always looking to pick a fight with former employers. That's a pile of shit move, and only a child would do that.
Commenting or thinking like that.
You know, this is a real people tragedy. And it has nothing to do with competition. It really has to do with about how people treat other people and just being nice to
Okay, he runs this Midwest company, and this was the company that I applied for a job for in Kalamazoo. And the second that this potential hiring process started, I felt like I was signing up for some type of multi-level marketing, or perhaps like the Waco cult. That's how it felt to me. And then I was in communication actually with this guy, and they made me fill out a personality test. And I don't know if I flunked it. That would make sense if I did. But this long-ass fucking personality test. I've never had to do this in my entire life. And then they made me like write an essay. I was like, this is such bullshit. And then they like ghosted me.
Tan says Midwest Communications has not been involved in the restraining orders Jansen filed. Court proceedings involving the now formerly competing radio hosts are scheduled to resume May 22nd. For Fox 11 Investigates, I'm Ben Krumholz.
Woodward Community Media Group.
Okay, Ben Krumholz. Ben Krumholz is, we just lose one letter in that last name, we have the greatest last name ever.
Woodward Community Media Group owns KISS FM and says Day departed earlier this week.
Woodward departed. They fucking fired him.
Would not tell us why Day is gone, but says it is committed to upholding its core values as a company. You can read the full statement from KISS FM and the court documents for the restraining orders within this story on fox11online.com.
Right. Boy, this is, that just goes to show you get the small-time news. This guy looks like, he looks horrible, by the way. Small-time news, there's been 10 minutes of this story, which to me is a goddamn nothing burger. He has I think he's got a decent lawsuit. Tophus referring to the old radio guy there. Tophus writes, Hey, easy. No, stop doing that. This guy has children in his basement. Hey, Siri.
Mm-hmm.
Call Pooh Bear, mobile, on speaker.
Calling Pooh Bear, mobile on speaker.
Hello?
Did you leave yet?
Yes.
Ah, shoot. Did you give Bruce any of that Apoquil?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I only gave him a half of one.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Stevie says, why is this a story, LOL? Wenji, on part of that story, wrote, this sounds vaguely familiar. Red Bull Brain Chris adds, is this the crime of the century? Thank God nothing else is going on in the world. Badger says, good thing you didn't make a comment about someone's pants. Was she out in public when that picture was taken? Yes, she was walking down the street, which is true. I think you can take a picture of someone when they're walking out in the wild like that. Tophus says, this seems like a giant nothing burger. Piano Fingerbanger says, Jesus Christ, this is some middle school level social media drama. Rich says, That's similar to one I've seen of show members who have been divorced. Well, that's interesting. Tofus says, I mean, there was no fucking threat. Where's the malicious part? I agree. There is no malicious part. What actions? I'm getting so fucking mad at this stupid story. Cole says, does Pooh Bear know you're live on the air? She knows I'm always live on the air. That doesn't stop her from opening that door wearing actually zero clothes, not even a pair of socks. This whole channel's going to get nuked because you're going to see her completely nude. Yeah, this whole thing is stupid. And then Tofus adds, the guy that kept talking, that they kept talking to, sounded like a real problem. So when I talked to her on the phone, Pooh Bear, she wants us to look less redneckish. I have visitors coming to the house today. My stepsister / sister Sue and her husband Jim. We've been planning this for some time. They're spending the night. Pooh Bear has asked me to do a series of chores so that the house, you kind of want to clean up. And so she's got a couple things she wants me to do. They're going to be here at 3:30 p.m. It's right now, as I'm saying this, it's 10:21 a.m. Now, in the garage, and a lot of people come into the house through my garage. It's a disaster. Again, I never actually officially finish anything. Nothing, things get started, and one half of the job will be completed. Case in point. I pulled the drain plug out of the truck. I pulled all of the oil out of the truck into the pan, and I haven't yet taken the pan and poured it into the backyard ground. So in the garage, and I can't even hang on to that joke. I don't do that. I store it in containers, and then at some point I have to dispose of it. Hopefully, honestly, what I'll do is just keep putting it into milk jugs. And then at some point, if I live here till the end of my days, they're going to be getting ready to have the estate sale, and they're going to open up this one area in the garage and go, holy shit, what is this? And then it's their problem. Piano Finger Banger with the question, do all of your walls have patches of spackle on the drywall, or is that just upstairs? I think this room for sure has that. You can see it. It's been years. And then I'm still working on the library. So on the floor of the garage is the used oil, just waiting for like the dog to walk through it. Nick, who's a hill jack, writes, just throw those full milk jugs onto your fire up north. It will really complement the trash taste on the marshmallows. Yeah, I try to, if we do burn, because I'm not going to say we don't, but we do burn our garbage up there. And you don't want to have any marshmallows, any s'mores right after garbage burning. You do garbage burning as you go to bed at night or first thing in the morning. And let it burn down. Pile it up with logs, let that burn down, pile it up with more logs, and then eventually you're going to get rid of that garbage taste. So that's what Pooh Bear is suggesting that I do. So I've got my work cut out for me today. Ben says, throw some empty Aquanet cans on there, make it interesting. Nick says, even as a hill jack, I still run a 2-fire pit system. Not me. Black Belt Nick says, can't you have a burn barrel for trash? These are all great ideas. Yes, I should. I'm learning a lot of my faults on today's podcast is what I'm learning. Hi, Bruce. Okay. So, yeah, a lot on my mind today with the dog and that radio story that was one of the worst stories. That was the most time spent on absolutely nothing. I can't believe the poor guy got fired. I mean, that's a reason to give him a raise, in my opinion. I love radio beefs. I've facilitated many of my own, and I always treated radio like if I'm at a radio station, maybe not so much now, but for sure when I was doing mornings in Grand Rapids and anywhere else, but not so much in Grayling. It's a little different ballgame. But I always equated my dislike of other morning show talents because I always took it personal that we were fighting for the same thing, audience share. And the more audience share you have, the longer you live in terms of your workplace career. So you have to go into this, in my opinion, that's the way I always did it, that every day you are fighting for your life. And that's because we were fighting for our lives. In particular, every radio job I had after my time in Saginaw, I went into it as, okay, you got 12, maybe 18 months to impress somebody, and then you're out. And so, ups and downs, I always went into it that way. And I was probably the most intense about it when I was in Grand Rapids. So much so that one day in particular, there was a concert, and it might have been a Kid Rock concert or some shit, I don't know. But there was a space in Grand Rapids right on the corner of Fuller and it doesn't fucking matter. Right by where the Bob is. And we put our banners up there, these little plastic banners. And Greg, Chris, Eric, Dave, Kim, Matt Hogue, we were all inside of the Van Andel Arena across the street. And then someone calls us and says, hey, some asshole from B93 is taking down the banners, taking our banners down and putting their banners up. So it was like Braveheart. And like, we're going to fight. Run across the street and literally hands on the guy, like assaulting him. And we're pulling him off of the banners as he's ripping our banners off. Now, I did not strike him, but I did do something that was equally silly to get him to stop doing this. But I don't know if I prevailed because a lot of it is foggy. I was so enraged. I stole his glasses. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.